Oh, hello. I am so glad everybody is here with me today. We're going to talk about some very interesting things. Hello, hello. You have come at the very right time. If you are here with me, put hello in the comments. Whew, it has been kind of a whirlwind the last couple of days with the three talks that I've been doing. And I want to just tell you, um, this talk that I'm doing. It's part of a three-part series. We're talking about how grief breaks you open. And today we're talking about, but spirit meets us there. So I'm glad that you're here. And I want to just say to you that there is a moment where grief, hmm, it's something that almost no one talks about, this side of it. There's a moment in grief where it's not the shock, it's not the funeral, it's not even the first holiday without them. But it's that moment when something inside of you becomes quiet enough that realizes they're still communicating with you. For some of us, it's signs and symbols. Put signs and symbols or signs in the comments. It's a new language that we're learning. Their love, their energy, it didn't leave. The person left. And when it first happens, things inside of us change. We feel softer. We feel different. And we notice things that we've never noticed before. And whether you believe in spirit or not, something inside of you has whispered at one time or another, I wonder if they're still here. I wonder if they're still communicating. Because grief brings awareness. Interesting, right? Put right in the comments. It's not about death. It's about what comes after, the bridge from this realm to the next. What if the moment that you thought you lost someone, it was actually just changing the relationship, not the moment that it ended, but as time goes on? What if I told you that my mother, of course, she was my first earthly teacher, but she actually opened the door to spirit after she passed. So she was my spiritual teacher as well. Sometimes it happens when the person that we love goes into the physical world. And there are moments that your soul breaks open because your heart feels like there's more. Put there's more in the comments. If you felt like when the physical world has just changed a little bit, time pauses, things shift, the future shifts, the world feels quieter, and you become more aware of things that you've never seen before. Maybe that moment wasn't a breaking point. Maybe it was an opening point. You have to crack an egg. The soul is not collapsing in that moment. It's becoming more mindful of what's going on. It's knowing that something is waiting for us. Intuition becomes a little bit stronger. Sensitivity may become a little bit deeper. What once felt like loss slowly starts to feel like awakening. Put A in the comments. For many people, the veil doesn't break. The veil doesn't open in peaceful moments. There are some who just wake up and are born with it, but it thins when love refuses to disappear. When there's a purpose for you, it keeps knocking. For those of you who don't know me, Stacy Diedenthal, and I've been an evidential medium for over 11 years, spiritual healer, facilitator of women's retreats, both grief and spiritual awakening. I'm an author of 2 books. One is My Head Knows, But My Heart Still Hurts. And let me tell you, I didn't go looking for this. My journey didn't start in the classroom of wonders. It began really rocky. And it was a moment where my life honestly felt like it was falling apart. I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was schizophrenic. I was dealing with anxiety and depression. And looking back now, 15 years ago, I felt like my soul, I felt like the universe was preparing me for something I didn't expect, something I wasn't prepared for. I believe spirit was getting me ready for the loss of the person who knew me better than anyone else, the one who carried me in her womb. My mother passed in 2014, and she only had a short bout with cancer. And at that time, my whole world changed in a way that we never expect. I believed loss was going to be silence and that the connection was gone. I thought all I was left with were memories. Excuse me a second. And then everything changed. I was invited to a small group reading. I think there was 5 people at this reading. And I wasn't going looking for answers. I didn't think that it was going to change my life. But that one night changed everything. And if you've heard me talk about this before, I often say I spoke to a medium for a year one night. And it was that night. Because that one experience shifted my understanding of loss and grief and connection and spirit and death forever. This woman brought my mother through with such clarity that all of a sudden, for the first time in a long time, I felt peace. I felt like I could breathe again. I wasn't healed, still grieving, but there was a shift that felt different. And then she asked to speak with me after the meeting. And that's when the big change came. The big slap in the head. She told me that Spirit had a job for me, and I could either open up or try and turn it down, shut it down. But if I did nothing, if I ignored it, it was going to make me crazy. And I didn't understand it at the time because I was seeing, feeling, and hearing things, but I thought I was losing my mind. I thought if I can't explain it, my mind's playing tricks on me. And the only person that knew about these things was my husband. Somehow she knew. She knew. And she told me. So I started to realize that maybe that connection didn't end, it just changed. And maybe I was hopeful. Maybe it was the grief talking. I didn't want to lose my mom. But then things began to happen. And they're undeniable, the things that happened. How many times is it a coincidence until it's not a coincidence? It's feeling how it is in your body, in your energy, in your spirit. I began to feel my mom's presence. I would smell her perfume. It didn't make logical sense, but it made sense here. And I realized the way that it felt so real. I realized that spirit can still communicate, but it's not in a way that you would expect. Instead of hearing their voice, maybe you get a chill. Maybe you hear a song on the radio that reminds you of them. My mom, for the first, oh my gosh, probably 3 weeks, woke me up at 2:11 a.m. That was the time that she left this earth. Songs about her, when I was thinking about her, would come on. They would make me feel calm. It was not until I let go of thinking logically that I started thinking to the other realm. I started wondering, everybody always talks about signs and symbols, and I'm getting these signs and symbols. Maybe this is a new way for her to communicate with me. Have you ever gotten a sign? Put sign in the comments. It's dreams, visitations. Put dreams if you've received visitations. And I tested some of these signs. I tested them. My mother was phenomenal for sending me feathers. Well, I tried to rationalize that out. Birds lose feathers. Oh, I see a feather. It's spirit. So I said to my mom, send me a feather in an unusual way. And I was in my Jeep, windows down, hair blowing all over the place. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw this tiny little feather fall down into my hand. Good trick, Ma. But the best trick when I was traveling, when I got up in the morning, was getting ready for a class, there was a feather in my bedroom on the floor. I don't remember it there the night before, but maybe it was. Went and took a shower. When I came back out, opened up my jewelry bag. There was a feather inside the jewelry bag. I literally called my husband and asked him if he put that feather in there. So I tested the theory. Mom, if you're going to send me feathers, put them somewhere unusual. And she did. This was not my imagination. I was learning a new language. And looking back, that reading that I went to, that I drove 2 hours both ways, wasn't just about hearing from my mother. I was pushed, I was nudged to go there because it was the beginning of me healing from things in my heart that I had buried for years. I'd had some trauma in my life, and I thought I'd already moved through it. But what I had pushed down started to bubble up, and I feel like because of the passing of my mom, I was vulnerable. I didn't move on from this stuff. It was still there. And loss forced me to face it, to forgive it, to release it, and how to care for myself. Ooh, self-care was foreign to me. I take care of everybody else. I don't need taking care of. This was my dark night of the soul. I didn't even know what that was at the time. I had to be broken in order to wake up. Just like, what do they call them? Light sticks. The light sticks, you have to break them for them to light. But then something beautiful came through from all of that. The anxiety slowly disappeared. No more depression. Fear turned to awareness. And my confusion turned into purpose. I wanted to help the world heal. I had been through this terrible thing. Now it was my turn to give back. And I don't tell you that so that you think that I'm special. I share that because it's powerful. The moment that you feel that your story has ended may actually be the moment that you're beginning to rise. Self-care starts with that. You may have more abilities within yourself, but because you don't take care of yourself, because you talk negative to yourself, you're stopping it. And I have a self-care blueprint that I took directly from My Head Knows, But My Heart Still Hurts. And I would love to send that to you. Put self-care in the comments and I will send it to you. We all have some type of ability. We just need to listen. There's a new language that we need to learn. And are you listening? Are you are you willing to pay attention? Are you feeling the nudge? Put nudge in the comments if you're feeling the nudge. Because let me tell you, when I started this talk, it wasn't about loss. It was about the way spirit can still communicate with you after they're passed. Awareness starts with self-care. Self-care in the comments. Because the truth is, when we lose people to death, we don't lose their love. We don't lose the way to communicate with them. We lose their physicality. You lose the way we're used to speaking to them. But there's a new language. And the moment you learn the new language, grief starts a new chapter. It's not the end of the story. Your loved ones are only a whisper away. Whisper. Thank you so much for being here and playing along. And if you would like to receive the self-care blueprint, put self-care. I will talk to you later. Have a beautiful, magical, marvelous day. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.